everyone. Welcome to our second new member Zoom for March 2025. I'm Betsy Ko, and we do these, we being myself and a wonderful team of co-hosts, and we're all present today. We'll introduce ourselves in a sec. We do these new member sessions twice a month. And we really use the term new very loosely. New or newish, or just I've got a question and would like some time with some help in real time. So that's the purpose here. And I've been on WikiTree for 5 years, going on 6, I guess, at this point. And it's just been a wonderful ride for me. I love being a part of the community. It did take some time to figure out everything that was going on WikiTree, and of course how to navigate when adding my ancestors. And so as a teacher, I thought it would be helpful to create this space where we could ask questions in real time. Like emails and G2G are great, but there's always a little bit of a delay. So that's the purpose here. We also, if you haven't noticed, but I think everybody's noticed by now, WikiTree has a new look as of
Don't say.
yeah, 2 weeks ago. And so we are also here to answer any questions that you have about the redesign. And everything is still there. It just may be in a different place. So we can absolutely make those questions a high priority as well. Murray, you want to introduce yourself?
Muted.
There we go. Let's do that. Now you can hear me, I hope.
Yes.
Yes, good. Okay, I'm Murray Maloney. I'm a technical writer by trade, an inventor by necessity, and here on WikiTree to have fun. I write the instructions for the web browser extension and for a couple of Greg Clark's apps. And like you, I do a lot of work on WikiTree, adding to my family. I have a lot of experience in information systems and in markup languages and and I was a product manager for some software products as well. I came to WikiTree 5 years ago, and I found it hard. It takes a lot of work to learn how to use this whole thing. If you're feeling that that's true for you too, don't feel embarrassed about it. It's hard for everyone. When we're here to help you because we went through the same thing, we know how hard it is, and we want to, just share with you how to make it easier, how to understand how these things work, and hopefully make you more effective and more efficient here on WikiTree. And with that, I'll turn it over to Hillary.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm based in, as you can see, I'm based in Wales. So and I have actually been on WikiTree the longest of all the co-hosts. I've actually been on WikiTree for, let's see now, it'll be 11 years, I think, or more. No, more, possibly more than that. I think I joined in 2011 actually. It was a long time ago anyway. I am one of the project coordinators for the Wales project. I'm a county's project coordinator, and I also am a co-coordinator of the England project's Orphan Trail as well. And one of the main things I do at the weekend is greeting new guests, new people to WikiTree. So and I've been doing that for quite a long time, so I'm quite au fait with that. But I'm still finding new things. I was away the day we changed over to the new WikiTree. I went away for a week, and so that week I wasn't doing so much on WikiTree, and I'm still picking up new bits like today, I just realized that I could jump from one thing to another by just using the links a bit more. So yeah, I like a lot of people, it takes a while to get used to things. So I'll hand over to Stephen.
Well, hi, I'm Steve Greenwood. I have also been on WikiTree for approximately 5 years. July will be my 5th anniversary. I have been on wikis for quite a while, so learning curve wasn't as steep for me as it might have been for other people. I'm a wiki founder from 20 years ago, actually. We just celebrated that anniversary of another wiki I worked on. But WikiTree has taken most of my attention these days, and because of the active community, because of events like this and these Zoom meetings and so forth, it has kept my interest, and I also just have a lot of interest in the human world tree. I've been working on a lot of notables lately. I've been creating some new profiles for people that recently passed. I'm still focusing on Germany project, which has a lot of overlap with my own family tree, or my branches of the world tree. So if there's any questions regarding any of those particular areas, I might be able to help out. But anything that's of interest, anything that needs to get cleaned up, any of those GEDCOM profiles that show up, I'm like, okay, well, let's see what we can do with this, and try to just improve it a little bit at a time. I know that 40 million profiles is a lot of stuff, but that's why we have a community to work on them here. So that's the whole idea, is to be collaborative in the nature of the project here. So I appreciate everybody turning out today for this. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can.
Yeah. So I made one of the things I love about these sessions is that we always have a contingent of more experienced WikiTreeers who hop on the call. So I know who those folks are, and I've also made a note of people that are newer, or maybe this is your first time, maybe I don't recognize your name even. So we want to make sure sometimes we have volunteers who say in advance, yes, I want to look at my profiles. We didn't have anyone volunteer today. So who's going to raise their hand first? What can we help you with?
No pressure.
If we don't have anything, I'm quite happy to show people what I've been working on today.
That's cool
Sure.
too.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
I did put in the post something more for Steve, possibly. A notable from a Chicago artist, Alfred Jurgens.
Sounds like it overlaps with both my interests.
And what is his?
You have a WikiTree profile ID?
Yeah. If I can find it. There it is. Jurgens 183. Juergens.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to give that. I'm going to share, and
Oh, you're doing the search. Okay.
yeah. Let me move everyone down. So yeah, our search feature is now here in the upper right hand corner, and when you click on that, it gives you this. And you can either add in a first and last name, or you can add in a WikiTree ID in the last name field. Would you give that to me again?
It's also in the chat as well.
Okay, I can't see that right now.
Juer.
Okay. Let me. Can you spell it again? I'm sorry.
Juergens 183.
Thank you. Okay.
Without the umlaut, so the U and the E in German used to become the U umlaut. Sometimes you'll see them appear as that in WikiTree.
Yeah, he was born in the U.S.
Right, so they've changed the name to remove the umlaut.
Okay.
His mother, well, both his parents were German. Yeah, it's very little. I just put it in earlier this weekend.
This is
And
cool.
is he a relation to you, Victor?
No.
Or just an interest? Yeah.
Uh, Baumgartner Restorations did a 3-part series on one of his paintings that had gotten majorly damaged.
Ooh.
Oh.
And I looked him up on the tree, didn't see him,
Mhm.
and he, from what I can see, he was fairly famous in the early 1900s.
Hmm.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see there's an obituary for him in the Chicago Daily
Right.
News.
Right. Oh, this
And
isn't
there's Illinois art.
you're referencing the painting. Huh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
tornado damage.
So let me
Begins in this video. Wow.
let me just give a little bit of a tour here um while while everybody
Hold on,
uh,
Lloyd. Okay.
okay.
Lloyd is
Um
on the phone.
yep. While we're here, just for in case you're still figuring your way around. So I asked Victor if Alfred was a relation to him, and one thing I could have done is I could have, well, first of all, we see that Victor is the profile manager,
Mhm.
and I could have clicked this little zigzaggy icon immediately
No
next to
connection.
his name. No connection found yet.
Is he connected
So,
to the tree at all?
Mm-mm,
uh-huh.
not
Okay.
yet. I've got
Okay.
just his parents, his sister, and his
Okay.
wife, who I think I mentioned it somewhere. His he didn't get married until like he was 60.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
And his wife, it seems to be sort of a marriage of convenience.
Still hope for me.
The big article that I link in, I think all of them,
Mhm.
they mentioned that they knew each other, and she ended up taking care of all his paintings when he died.
Mm, mhm,
Interesting.
mhm, mhm.
So
Um,
she's not attached. The wife is not attached to him.
Uh,
oh yeah,
have I not got?
you gotta add his wife.
Yeah, I don't
She
know
could
if
be
I
just
got
as
to.
Oh,
interesting if she was the purveyor of all of his paintings.
you might have your connect-a-thon projects all worked out with this gentleman here.
Well,
Yeah, so supposing you were uh, a descendant of Alfred Jurgens, well, maybe a grandniece or nephew, since it's maybe he didn't have children, and you're Googling him, and it leads you hopefully to our WikiTree profile. And you say, well, maybe this Victor Rose knows something more about my ancestor. So here, right here, and this is very similar to the way it was before. Here is where you can send a private message. Um, and then the last tracked change is also here. Everything's consolidated nicely in this box. And if you really appreciate the last change made, you thank the individual for that, and they'll see that in their thank you feed. So let's see, what else would we like to show? Oh, we commented on this in the live cast yesterday that so this is what we're referring to as the jump links bar. And you'll notice that as I scroll up and down, I'm a little
stays put.
laggy here, but
It's
that,
fixed.
yeah, that's, I'm always seeing that. So even down at the bottom, I see that. And if I'm down at the bottom and I want to jump to the top, I can do that really easily. And it allows me to go to the various sections. If there were photos, it would tell me, oh, there are 2 photos. There are no comments currently on the on this profile. Let me jump up to the comments, even though there are none. By that, I mean down here,
Right. It's
someone
the
could
full
leave
text section.
a comment. And then Victor has Alfred in one category, and we can see it's the artists category.
which we can even subcategorize even deeper than that too. So if we know, that there's
True.
American artists, maybe artists of German origin, Chicago, yeah, we could put in Chicago as a category.
And this is different. We're seeing the family view, his immediate family. If we wanted to see his ancestors, there's this tab right here. If he had descendants, there would be a third tab for descendants. So by clicking on ancestors, that takes us to, may look very familiar.
Pedigree chart.
This view here, yep, which allows you to see to a level of second great grandparents. And then, if you want to go further back, you can click on someone deeper in the chart and go to them. So, did you looks like a great start and a fascinating project, Victor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're pretty experienced. I mean, did you have any questions about this? It looks like it's in good shape to me.
Not really any questions, just something
Yeah.
that Steve might be interested in working on.
Aha.
I'll be doing some of it, but
Did you say me?
mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, well, we can do that right now because I just pulled them up and I already see a couple of things I'd love to do to it. Maybe I can share my screen. We could just run through that really quickly. I'm going to add a sticker and I'm going to add like more categories.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That's something we can do.
People might like to. Sure.
Okay.
Steve, can I just ask, do you have right now, do you have your extensions disabled? Because we're trying,
No, let me turn them off. Because
okay,
it might look different. I have extra little doohickeys that are showing up. Yeah.
Well, you know what I discovered yesterday is I had a few things still on that I didn't realize were on, and it was showing, these big boxes like, user ID, and now it looks better. So
hold on.
for the
I'm going to turn it off from
um,
managing my extensions because I don't want to turn off like any of the individual things. I feel like I might lose something, but Ian's also in the chat too, so maybe he can tell us if that's a okay thing to do. But I'm just turning it off from the add-ons manager in Firefox right now. And I don't think I have to turn off B or Sorcerer. I think I can still leave those active.
actually turn off B, but you can leave Sorcerer.
And leave on Sorcerer. Okay. That's been done. Well, that looks different. Ooh, I have a giant tree now on the left-hand side of my screen. And the bar that we were talking about earlier. That's interesting. I've also zoomed out a little bit because I felt like it was a little bit easier to view everything when I went to 70%. Do you want me to keep it at that percentage, or you want me to beef it back to 100%?
Whatever's comfortable for you.
Okay, well, let's try this. Let's just see what happens. So I'm going to share screen. And then Hillary, yes, I'll try to be quickly so that you can ask your question here. So your comment in the chat there. Okay, so I'm going to Alfred Jurgen's page. Can everybody see that?
Not yet. There we go.
Okay, awesome.
Yes. There we go.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know what's happening here with the giant tree on the left-hand side of the giant bar. So it could be something that's just not formatting correctly on my end because, again, I turned off the browser extensions, but it wasn't like that beforehand.
You need to refresh your screen because you are showing some WBE icons.
Okay, let's refresh the screen.
There you go.
It is. That's what it was. The screen was still active on the browser. Okay. So it doesn't automatically do that when you switch it off. That's good to know. So yeah, so this is how it's appearing at 70%. Maybe people want to try that. You can hold down the control button and then scroll your wheel on your mouse, to go in and out. So you can make it larger, you can make it smaller. But right now I seem to be preferring this. I'm going to go back to the edit mode here. I did notice that, yeah, if he is a true notable, we could add the notable sticker. So generally that's going to go directly underneath the biography here. Okay. You're going to use the curly brackets, which is the two brackets. So otherwise, if you didn't hit the shift button, it would look like the traditional brackets like those.
Yeah.
We're using the curly ones with the shift bar. And then I'm going to put in notables sticker. And I have to have the space. I have to make sure it's capitalized because that's the only way it'll show up. And then if I go to preview, now, I guess what I do appreciate is instead of having to go all the way to the bottom of the screen, where that's where the preview section was, that actually was pretty annoying for me previously. I do like how, I think it's JavaScript that's using this, is to be able to float it to the top. So like there it appears. Now it can scroll up and down, within this little floating window. And I can see that the notable sticker that I put in, the text is appearing here. So it goes underneath the biography, and it sits next to the first line of text in the biography. So Alfred was born in 1866. It'll actually appear to the right of that, even though I put it above that text. Sort of drops down a line. So I like how that's looking. And I wasn't going to get too much into the data here, but I figured, yeah, we could probably do some more with the categories. So I selected the category button here. And I'm going to see if I can find some other artist categories. Maybe we can recategorize them a little bit more. And you can see that there's a drop down for different types of artists: ceramic, commercial, and then where they come from. Oh, look, con artists actually comes up as an option.
Oh dear.
I guess they are artists in a way, yes. Czech, Dutch, English, we could continue to go down. Even New Brunswick performing artists, that's a very specific one. Recording artists, Swiss, Swedish. So we're not really seeing them like within American or German, and it really wouldn't be English. So yeah, I guess in this case, there isn't a category that currently meets any of those specific needs. So yeah, we would just keep them in the existing artist category. However, since we know he's in the Chicago area, we can add these place name categories so that can allow other people to find, where he was living, other people that might have been in that area. I see that Cicero, Illinois was a place that he was at per the 1900 census. I think Cicero is still, Oak Park, right? So those are their own cities within the Chicagoland area. So I usually tend to go from most recent to oldest because of the way that categories drop. They tend to drop above the one before it. And also, like if I knew where he was buried, I'd be able to put the cemetery in at the bottom, and we don't have that yet, but that would be like what I would want to put on the bottom.
Okay.
Let's go back to that.
Can I jump in for a
Yeah,
second?
sorry. Go ahead and talk.
Just because you're doing categories and stickers, one sort of mantra that I said to myself a lot when I was a new WikiTreeer was categories go above the biography line. As you can see, you've got those categories for the locations above the biography, and then stickers go below. So that's an important little detail.
Now this is cool. When you type in the word Cicero, not only do you get locations, you get boats. There's actually boats that were named Cicero. And this 1861 boat probably had these two different voyages that it made. So some people came over in 1875. Some people came over in 1883. So that's kind of cool to see, when you just type any sort of information into that category feed. Also, any cemeteries that were attached to it, any other place names, anything else that sounds like it might be close. Like you're getting Cicerone, West Virginia. And yes, Denise, you can speak if you go ahead. I'm just going to add this category here really quick.
Just a comment while you're doing that. You were mentioning the stickers, and say, for example, it's somebody in the military. So if you have a section below the biography, it doesn't have to go immediately below the biography. You can actually put that sticker further down, closer to the information you have about that person being in the military, just as an FYI. It breaks it up and it makes it a little more interesting.
Right. Yeah. I think in the case of notable sticker, they want that to be at the top. So like that's a formatting thing for that project.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, any other stickers could go farther down, just depending on, where the information is relevant. So if it was like, right here around 1933, then you'd want to put it, on that line, like just above that, make an extra space and, throw that sticker in there. But yeah, I understand completely what you're saying. Let's go ahead and just preview that really quick here. So you don't see the categories really change. They don't really appear on here. We can always come back and update that later.
However, once we save it, remember I was showing in the jump links bar that, you know, it had said one category, and now it should show 3 categories once you save it.
Yep, just gonna go in and add my edit comments here and make sure to full save. And there it is. Okay, so yes, now we can see categories 5. I click on that and it floats to the bottom.
Yeah.
And now it froze in the notables category because of the sticker. And then the existing one we had, the artist. And so I actually feel like we should break this down later on. You know, I'm going to go into the categories and try to add some additional ones. And then, yeah, all the different locations I was at. And again, I was trying to go in chronological order. So starting in Cicero, you know, maybe being in the city of Chicago itself and then being in Oak Park. So, yeah, so that's just a couple little things I did. Then you can see at the very top, if we were actually in a challenge that was using tracking, that is a box that you could select, and that would allow you to do tracking for it. So it always appears at the top of the page after you do a save, you know, just in case somebody's keeping up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of, I was curious and worried about that a lot as a new wiki teacher. Just disregard it unless you're, you know, as Stephen said, doing the challenge.
Okay, yes. Then Hillary wanted to speak, so go ahead.
Oh, you're muted.
Right, just going to share my screen. Right, make sure I share the right one. Right, that one.
We're going back to Illinois again.
Yes, believe it or not, even though I'm English, I have this person is my uncle.
Okay, Marion County.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I've got some of the things right on it. That's one of the reasons I was asking. I've got his birthplace as Marion, Illinois, United States, and I think there probably should be something else in there.
So is it Marion a city or Marion a county?
I'm not sure. I've got what I've got.
There are both.
And then Corona, California. I've actually been there.
Yeah, the Corona, California. I think that's right. I got that from. I've got a source for that. I don't know if it's the Bider Grave. It might be.
Yeah, Brookport in Massac County. That's at the very south end by Metropolis.
Yeah, so I'm thinking probably Marion, Williamson County.
Yeah.
Actually, funny side little note, Metropolis has the world's largest Superman statue.
Yeah.
Paducah, McCracken County.
Wait. I'm looking at the information on his draft card. So birthplace, Marion. Okay.
Yeah.
Really help.
Doesn't give.
Well, I mean, if we search for Marion, Illinois,
and
we know it's a city.
I assume you've run Sorcerer on his profile, right?
Yeah, I will have. I've a lot of these were put in with Sorcerer, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because Marion is a city in southern Illinois. It's along I-57, so it's not too far away from Metropolis, slash Massac County, which is at the very south tip. Well, not as far south as Cairo, like that's the very far south tip of Illinois.
Yeah.
But it is along the Ohio River there, across from Paducah, which is another place that shows up. Brookport's actually right across from Paducah, so that's the US 45 bridge. So all these places are kind of coinciding to each other. They are making sense.
Yeah, Marion County is a little bit more north. It's more central.
Yeah, so there is a Marion County, but that's probably not the one we're talking about.
Yeah, that is the sort of minefield that we encounter when we're researching in a very unknown area geographically. Is you just don't know the nuances of the towns and the counties sometimes.
Yeah.
Just if I was looking in New Yorkshire. I was trying to work in one of those areas in Britain that I'm not familiar with. But yeah, I feel like that Marion is probably referencing the city of Marion.
Yeah, which is Williamson County.
Mm.
And
Well, when he was 7 in this census thing, it says he was living in Brookport. So
oh
that's
no.
probably the closest to where he was probably born.
But
Could
here's the
you find his parents in 1920? Just so you could see where they were living.
Mm. Let's have a look. I'll go to his father profile.
oh, I just found out something. So apparently, Marion being closer on I-57, if you continue north on I-57 past Mount Vernon, where 64 goes to St. Louis, then there is Marion County, which surrounds Salem. So not confusing at all. But I still feel like it is the Marion that's closer to Paducah here.
Mm.
Sorry, I just had to bring that up.
Could you show running sorcerer on this profile?
Yeah, I'll go to Ancestry. They're most likely to be. Oops, let's just go.
Yeah, maybe Ancestry can give us something more specific.
And Brookport is a city in Massac County.
Yeah, that's right across from Paducah.
So we're looking for the 1920 census.
Because that would have the
There
county.
it is. There it is.
I think, no, is that him? Yeah, that's him because it's got the right wife.
Hamletsburg, Pope County? Where is
Hamlet.
that?
It's
Yeah.
still one of those little ones down there.
Mhm.
I think it's
I've never heard of that place.
the town I've not, but
It's on the Ohio River. Okay, Pope County. That's interesting. Show me Google. It's an
This is
unincorporated
definitely
community.
the right family. I recognize the name. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Right across from Smithland, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes when I'm researching an estate where I'm less familiar, or even, I mean, I live in Illinois, but I'm in Chicago. I don't necessarily know the southern counties so well.
Mm.
I will open a map. I'll have a
Mhm.
tab with the county maps for the state. You know, just like
Yeah, I just did that, and I found it's on the other side of the bend. So the bend that goes around Paducah that has Brookport. If you go around the other side of that bend, that's where Hamletsburg is.
Mhm.
That's not Massac County. It is the county to the east of it.
yeah.
this is
Or
what
you know,
yeah.
Crooked Street. That's cool address. Use a button cutter.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. I love when we can find occupations in the census.
Yeah.
So what's a button? Is that
Just
kind of like the buttons that go
on
on
your
clothing?
shirt.
I would
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
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 Sounds like an insult. You button cutter.
Huh,
And his house was $300.
well, Hillary, I mean, you got a bunch of Midwesterners, you know, at your service.
Yeah.
So let us know as you continue researching him.
Yeah. Put it this way. I've got a lot of things, but and I've just even noticed that I've got an error with something that's in England because on that profile, which I've not edited for a long time because I've put in an extra layer of that shouldn't be in there, so I'll have to correct it anyway. So
Right.
Sue did
But
ask an interesting question, though. Which source actually did mention Marion?
I think it was the draft card, the World War II draft card.
Can we look at
Yeah.
that really quick and confirm which Marion it is?
yeah. Oh, that was for his son, wasn't it? Not for him.
Yes, for his son.
Yeah. Let's go back to his son's profile when I can remember how to do it. Yeah, there we go.
Gene Francis. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we were looking at the father for the last one.
Yeah.
Massac. Where's Marion? Ooh.
Now, where is the draft? Oh, here's a military one.
all these places are making sense, but where did he go? Is it
He
before
he signed
1940?
up for World War II draft in Kentucky, didn't he?
Yeah, in Paducah, which is across the river.
Yeah.
But where's the Mary? Oh, okay,
See,
there I see
there
it.
it is, right by her cursor.
Birthplace Marion, given in the World War II draft card. Okay, so that's acting as a source for that. And then can we get an image of that draft card? Yes.
Going to open. Yeah.
Okay.
That sucks. It just says Marion.
Mm.
Place of birth, town or county.
Marion, Illinois.
Number
And you
6.
know what? I have to think that in that situation, he would have meant I was born in the town of Marion. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
Mm.
generally give my county of birth when someone asks, where were you born?
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
I'd like
I'd give a town rather than a
Right.
county.
Why'd I
Yeah.
have to say town or county, though? This
Mm.
makes it even more complicated.
Mm.
Yeah, but
It would have been the place. You know, in this case, Marion probably wasn't even incorporated as a city at this point. Who knows?
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Marion is
Okay.
a fairly big city.
Okay.
All
So
right.
their wording is just, they're using town liberally here. The town could mean a city, a village, some kind of incorporated area.
Yeah.
That's what they're referring to.
Yeah.
Wisconsin treats towns differently. We actually have like civil towns that are not incorporated. There's a difference up here.
I need to have a look at the geography and have a work it out for myself, I think, don't I? Yeah. Yeah. I'll stop sharing.
Although I think the employer's name is cool. I think it said Rust Engineers. Is that what that?
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. It says Rust Engineer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're all learning stuff.
Oh, yes.
Thanks
So
for that question, Sue.
what other questions? I should say up front that we do need to end on the hour today.
Yep.
My fault. And sometimes there's an after party that carries on, after we turn the video off. But what questions? What other questions, especially from newer folks? No question is too simple. And if what you've been hearing up until now seems too complicated, just ask us your basic question.
There are no dumb questions.
Nothing is too elementary.
And what was that Owens the wiki ID? Because I will look into that because I got some.
One of them's private because they've got living children. So
Okay.
So I'm the manager of it, and I'm trying to think who but the father certainly hasn't got is definitely open. Let me have a look.
So there's no birth record for that person, even though the draft card is saying their birthplace was Marion?
Do you know, I haven't looked for it more recently. It might be available for all I know. I haven't looked for it. Yeah, the one that isn't open is Owens 786, but his father is Owens 14032.
We'll create much later.
How common a surname it is.
So if you could find out where he was living when the child was born, that could be a clue.
Yeah.
Depending on which census would capture that.
Here's another idea, Hillary. City directories. Yeah, you might be able to find something within the town for, between the census years.
Yeah. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah.
As I say, I haven't edited any of that for quite a long time. I mean, I tend to concentrate on the sort of direct ancestors, but this is obviously somebody that's fairly close and a private, a locked down a bit profile. So,
did Illinois have any state censuses between the federal censuses?
You mean the sort of 5-year ones?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not in that time period, I don't think.
Okay.
They had some in
had a few early on.
1800s, but
hmm
1900s, I don't think they did.
Because then the federal government basically established the 10-year census. The states weren't doing them themselves then.
Yeah, good
Okay.
idea though. I mean, like New York was fantastic for censuses on the fives, really
hmm
so helpful. Um,
Yeah, Wisconsin had one or two. Like the 1905 keeps coming up for Wisconsin.
yeah.
Yeah, Florida was another state that did it in addition to the 10-year census. They
Yeah,
did it every 5 years
right,
in
right.
Florida.
Yeah. And I think New York also did an 1892 census.
Oh,
Oh,
important.
In light of our loss with the 1890 census, that is just a godsend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a long wait now before we get any more censuses released in the UK. They've
Yeah.
released the 1921. The next
Right.
one's going to be 1951. So that's not going to be released particularly early. 2050 odd is
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
because we didn't have one in 41. We've got the 39 register, which is already
Right.
available.
Yeah.
So
What about
31
30?
didn't, it got destroyed, I think.
What about 31? 31?
31
froze.
got destroyed. 1931 got destroyed.
oh.
Can you hear me? Because I think I got froze.
You're fine.
I can hear you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're frozen, Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. It's Lori, and I have a question this morning.
Yes. Hi, Lori.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Could you just walk us through the suggestions? I pay attention to them and I work on them faithfully, but
Yep.
I'm noticing some kind of lag in getting my corrections fixed because they
Yes.
keep reappearing. And I know I need to answer this, have this question addressed because I'm starting to feel irritated about it. And I want to ignore it. And I shouldn't because I believe in accuracy and accountability, etc. So if you could just walk us through maybe an overview for the new people to WikiTree about these suggestions. I understand they come up like every Monday. I think there's a report.
Yes. And they're not, so if you're first of all, that kudos and commendation for your work on those. It's really important to keeping the tree accurate and healthy. And if you I sounds like you may be doing it like maybe even every day, and because it's only updated on Mondays, that means that you're not going to see the fruits of your labor updated until the next Monday. I know what you mean because I've done that, and you sort of want the satisfaction of seeing that drop off the list, whatever you just fixed, but it doesn't.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm not sure that I have any other wisdom to offer other than that. Now I have not looked at my suggestions since the redesign dropped. So let's see. Let me go to my profile.
I was
Go
going
to
to say,
suggestions.
he's not going to
Oh.
have any because
Yes, right. So suggestion, that is an excellent point. So suggestions, you will not, well, I guess you would find them for an ancestor profile, but sort of the more efficient way to look at it, you go under my WikiTree, and this is like an active living WikiTreeer. Just this will show you all your suggestions for any profile on your watch list. So I'm a little behind, as you can see. I have 56 suggestions, and
Shame, know your name.
thank you, Stephen.
By the way, my computer crashed. I ran out of RAM, but I'm back now.
Good.
Welcome back, Stephen.
Yep.
Yes. And if you need to screen share, I can remake you a co-host.
Probably
So
not anymore.
you can see that they are, one thing that I really like about them is there's a description on the far left about what is the nature of the problem. And then I use this all the time. The little YouTube icon
Right,
will,
right.
yeah, it
Yeah.
takes you to a video, usually about 4 minutes tops, that's been done by the Data Doctors Project, and they are like the wizards of fixing all this stuff. And it shows you, it walks you through what to do. So, and then once you have fixed it, then you can go to the status
Right.
and then mark it as corrected. Now, sometimes with Find a Grave, there are discrepancies where you know that you have the correct information. And there's a way for you to note that, and maybe even I think there's a way to dismiss the suggestion.
Right. I've worked with some Find a Grave managers to get the memorials corrected
Right.
and go back in. But there's still, I mean, my suggestions are going on for a couple of months. They keep coming back
Oh.
not corrected. So I'm just going to be patient with that. But I have a second question regarding
Sure.
this. Can we talk about the manager column?
Yes.
There are corrections or suggestions on my feed that have different managers. I am not the manager. So what is appropriate for me to be doing with that or not? Do I leave it alone, or should I contact the manager and say, hey, do you want to work on this? Or like, how do I do this?
So, and I want to clarify to make sure I understand. You're talking about the manager column from
Correct.
the suggestion list.
Correct.
And what if it is not you? So in other words, you are on the trusted list, but you're not the manager.
Correct.
Okay, got it. I would say it's on a case by case basis. You know, how invested you feel in that profile. You know, if you want to, I think I would reach out to the profile manager if you're going to, you know, jump in and fix something, unless it's, you know, just like a wiki formatting sort of thing. If it's something really straightforward like that, you can feel free to just go ahead.
Right.
And
It's a
change.
courtesy, I think, to reach out to the manager. Plus, it builds a good working relationship.
Right.
And,
Right.
you know, sometimes I have reached out to other managers, like a recent publication of the New York genealogical, you know, the journal has come out. So there's like a new article in there, brand new, and there's dynamite information that should be at least the article flagged and added as a source to the WikiTree profile. So I will contact a manager and I never hear back from them. So what is good courtesy for working with a manager of a different profile that you're interested in if they don't respond?
Well, I think in that case, Lori, you've done the right thing. You've reached out. You know, we can only control our own behavior. So if they don't respond, and you know, for whatever reason, you know,
Buried in email.
yeah, that could be. But you know, no one's ever going to, I think, be mad about another source on a profile. So if you want to go ahead and add that source, then
Right.
I think that's fine. So you can feel free, especially, you know, it's an open profile, and you feel confident that it's relevant, then go ahead and add it.
Thank you.
Yes, Denise.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Betsy. And also just a reminder, because if it's an open profile, you can make updates, even though there's another profile manager on there, they will receive an email communication that that update has been done. And if they want to investigate further, they can, and then maybe that will prompt them to reach out to you. But again, like Betsy said, kudos, because if you're making updates to profiles and you're not the manager, if it's an open profile, that's why we're a collaborative community. And we can do that. That's in our honor code.
Thank you, Denise.
Yeah, we hope that there are, that we can minimize the number of profiles that don't get touched for years and years and years. It's really, it's a good thing when profiles are constantly being, checked. And, as you said, this article is recently published, and, record collections are being released all the time. And so, it's really good to update profiles.
Thank you. I agree, especially when some of us are, paid subscribers to historical societies or genealogical societies. And there is, strong research being published that would help break down perhaps a brick wall that somebody else might be working on. So I'm only too glad to do the sharing. I just don't want to step on any toes. But
Right.
This was very helpful today. Thank you.
Good.
I have a question, and then I'm going to mute myself.
Yes.
When it comes to statistics, you keep asking me if I'm a male or female and I keep telling them I'm a female, and it keeps coming up in my statistics, and I don't know what to do.
Okay. Hillary, you want to take a turn at, or Stephen, someone else take a turn at screen sharing? And maybe, Fairly, could we look at your profile? What is your profile ID?
Totally free.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you're a newt. I should know this. Tonery 3. There it is.
Okay, and Stephen, I'm going to mute myself now.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
So, Hillary, could you pull up?
You just find it. Right. I've got her one. She wants to know about suggestions. Yeah.
Well, yes. Could you screen share so we can all see?
Yeah. Right. What do we want to know about? Because if I go to this, it's not going to bring up.
Oh, right.
Find. It's not.
So the issue is something to do with gender on your profile. Oh, yes.
It's not been set, has it?
Yes.
So,
it's not. You're neither.
Hillary,
Yeah.
Hillary, if you go under the Fairly Tonery menu item to the bottom, you'll see suggestions. No, right at the top of the screen, it says Fairly Tonery. And it's a menu item, top of the screen.
Oh,
Yeah, it's to the other side.
There you go. Oh, you just passed it. No, left,
Lower.
left. Keep going left. Keep going left. Keep going left. There you go. To the bottom.
not going to go any further for me. Oop.
Oh, you can't see it. Oh, darn.
That's a
Maybe-
bug.
Maybe shrink your screen a bit.
Yeah, go down to 80%.
Right. And I should just note, this looks very, very different to what we've been showing because Hillary has the WikiTree browser extension on. Correct, Hillary?
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you just clicked on the suggestions tab, you'd get it too.
Here they are. Okay. Missing gender.
Yes.
Gender there.
So So Fairly, if you go into edit mode on your profile, and just at the top section under, name and date of birth, and there's a section for gender, and you just must have overlooked it. So you can just toggle that appropriately
Now,
and
granted, that is not a required field.
Right.
People can choose to not identify a gender as well.
Yeah.
Other do not display is an option.
If you want to display your sex at birth, it's this one right at the bottom there.
But you
Yeah.
have to click one of the circles for certain or uncertain.
No, you don't. We would call those
Otherwise,
radio buttons, and it's very useful, especially when you're doing family relationships, because then later, if you're verifying a connection path, it will say confident, confident, confident for each step in the relationship pathway. That's nice to see. But sometimes, other I mean, if you're confident, why not? Or certain, why not? And like, for instance, with the death date, you would, like, supposing you only have a burial date and not an exact death date, that would be a time to click before this date, and then add a research note saying, well, we don't know the exact date of death, but he was buried on this date, therefore we know he died before that date.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Actually, we don't.
I
What we
did.
what we do know is that he died on that date or before.
Mhm.
We could also say about, right? Approximately.
Yeah.
I think if you try to save the profile, and you haven't clicked certain or uncertain for the gender, when I do it, it refuses to save it until I've clicked one of those radio buttons.
Really?
What browser are you using?
Well, I can leave any of the others uncertain. Firefox.
Firefox. Interesting. Are you using any browser extensions or no?
Yeah, the
Wow.
WikiTree extension.
Okay. Could be a bug. Maybe someone can look into that.
I don't think it's a bad bug, because if it makes you indicate whether the person is male or female, that's probably a good bug.
But it should not require. It shouldn't require the radio button be selected in order to be able to save it.
Yeah, I come to think of it, I don't think that my gender is not confirmed by a radio button. That was something I came to later in my WikiTreeing, is recognizing how helpful radio buttons could be. So
I think it may just be the name that's triggering that. So like her name is Fairly, and that is not a common name. So you have to tell WikiTree whether you're male or female, and it would help to also select the radio button. And then you probably wouldn't get a suggestion. Now that you do have a suggestion, you want to double check that it has your gender correct, and then you can go to status and say that that's been fixed, so that you don't get any more suggestions on that, because it'll keep popping up until you update that status as well.
And David, I'd just like to say that we appreciate your attitude towards quality control.
It will come up a suggestion if you've got some unusual names, because it doesn't like it if you've only got the only person with that particular spelling of a name. It certainly does come up with things, particularly for the first names.
It's a finicky subject, though, of course. I mean, because we know that not all names are going to have a gender associated with them. Some are gender neutral. In this case, this could be a gender neutral name. The computer, of course, doesn't understand nuance, doesn't understand context, so it wants one or the other, right? It's a very binary system on the computer. But it shouldn't, we shouldn't have to force anyone to make a binary selection when it comes to, names and things like that. Just want to keep people aware of that. So it's just a byproduct of the computer doing its thing.
I have a third great grandmother whose first name was Joseph. It wasn't spelled with an E. It wasn't spelled PHTE. It was simply Joseph. And the association that's responsible for genealogy in the province of Quebec insists on adding an E to her name.
Oh, yeah. And I also think of that, you know, there's the name Marion, which when it's spelled with an A is the female spelling, and Marion with an O is the male spelling. But there are female Marions where the name, a handful where it's spelled with an O. And so that's a good
And gender
example.
norms can be stretched and expanded and, you know, destroyed. It doesn't really matter. Anybody can name anyone anything that they want. And we're finding in genealogy that there is such a diversity of names. I just found Xenophon. I mean, I didn't just find him. I've known for him for a while, but it's like, you know, that was a Greek name or a Greek person a long time ago, and somebody in the 1800s decided to name their child Xenophon. Could be, you know, you don't necessarily know what the gender or sex of birth is going to be with a name like that, but, you know, it was a man. And so, again, it just shows the diversity of human language, of human naming, and all of those little nuances and everything.
And Betsy, didn't you say you needed to leave at 11?
Yeah.
I was waiting for us to get to a spot. Thank you, Victor.
Yeah, it's a good point, Dan. Yes.
So thank you to everyone who came today and for the questions, the excellent questions. We will be back in April. On our next session is Thursday, April 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, midnight UTC. And then the Sunday session will be Sunday, April 27th in let's see, 11 in the morning EDT 3. Is that right, Hillary? Or will it be, I'm going to check because maybe by the end of April, it'll be.
Well, we'll be on our daylight saving time off from next week. So it'll be on whatever. We'll be on the same sort of time difference as we usually are.
Okay. All right. Well, I will anyway. April 10th and 27th. And we hope to see you then. You can come as often as you like. Always, we love your questions. So thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording now. Bye.